I was 17 when I first realized that there are things in this world that can't be explained. It doesn't matter how rational you are. It doesn't matter if you don't believe in the supernatural. Some things just happen. They come, take what they want, and vanish, leaving behind emptiness. And if you happen to be nearby when it happens, then you're just unlucky. Very unlucky. I was born and raised in southern Indiana, in a small, quiet town. A church in the town square, 3 grocery stores within 5 blocks, and neighbors who know way too much about you. Every kid in our neighborhood dreamed of getting out, of growing up fast and leaving for some big city. I was no different. It happened in late October, about a week before Halloween. The leaves had started falling. The air was cooler, but the sun still clung to the horizon. I was walking home from practice. We ran laps on the school track until sunset, and by the time I left campus, the streets were nearly empty. That's when I saw them. I saw an antique pocket watch. I spotted it at the edge of the sidewalk, right on top of a pile of leaves. I walked closer and immediately felt that something was wrong with it. It looked too clean, not a speck of dust, not a single scratch. It seemed like someone had polished it and carefully placed it there, exactly where I would see it. The casing was silver, covered in delicate, swirling engravings. In the center of the lid was the outline of a crow, etched as if by a needle's tip. Surrounded by strange symbols that looked like runes, I pressed the button. The lid popped open. Inside was a Roman numeral clock face. The hands were frozen at 3:17. The watch wasn't ticking, however it pulled at me. I don't know why I didn't leave them there, why I didn't just walk past. I picked them up, slipped the watch into my pocket, and went home. When I got home, I tossed it into my desk drawer. The first day passed without incident. I nearly forgot about it. However, that night I woke up in complete silence. And then I heard it. A clear, rhythmic ticking sound coming from my desk drawer. I knew the watch wasn't working, and yet it was ticking. I opened the drawer. It was there, exactly as I'd left it. I touched it, and the ticking stopped instantly. The hands still pointed to 3:17. The next day, the strangeness began. When I passed the bathroom mirror, I caught a glimpse of something that wasn't quite me. It looked like me, but older, with hollow eyes. When I turned back to check again, he was gone. Later that day, my mom called. She told me our elderly neighbor, Mr. Brand, had passed away. Heart attack. Time of death, 3:17 a.m. Coincidence? That's what I thought at first. However, that evening I heard the ticking again, coming from my drawer. And that night I dreamed of a man. He was tall, unnaturally tall. His head nearly touched the ceiling. He stood in the corner of my room just watching. His eyes were 2 dim silver glows. Everything else was just shadow. He didn't move. He just stood there and stared. I woke up drenched in sweat. The time? 3:17 a.m. That's when things really began. At night, I heard footsteps around the house, floorboards creaking in empty rooms. Mom said it was just the old house settling, but it had never sounded like this before. Then one day, I found a handprint on the bathroom mirror. Long, narrow fingers. I took a photo of it with my phone. However, I never showed it to anyone. I knew no one would believe me. I started digging for answers. Online, in the school library, on forums, I found nothing. Until one day I came across an old article at the local archives, dated 1913. It was about a boy named Harold Winslow. He was 17. He had found an antique silver watch on the road. A week later, he vanished. His final diary entry mentioned a man who came to his room at night. The newspaper said only his shoes and the watch were found. The hands? 3:17. That's when I stopped doubting. I knew I had to get rid of the watch. I took it from my drawer, stuffed it into my jeans pocket, and walked to the river. I threw it as far as I could. I watched as it sank beneath the murky water, and immediately felt a sense of relief. The next 2 days were peaceful. No noises, no footsteps, no ticking. However, on the 3rd day, I came home and heard the ticking, coming from my room. The silver watch was on my pillow, dry, as good as new. The hands pointed to 3:17. I screamed. My mom rushed into the room. I showed her the watch, told her it was following me, that something was wrong with it. She looked at me like I was losing my mind. She said I was just exhausted. That night, I woke up and realized he was closer than before. I was in my bed, paralyzed with fear. He was sitting in the chair by my bed, slowly rocking, the wood creaking. His hand held the watch, and he was whispering words. I couldn't understand them. At some point, he suddenly turned to me. His eyes flashed. I blacked out. When I came to, I was on the floor. That night, I started seeing the symbols on the walls in my house, on the chalkboards at school, in my textbooks. After that, I began blacking out. I started confusing dreams with reality. And then my friend Chris's father told me that Chris had died. It was an accident. He was hit by a car at 3:17 a.m. I knew it had moved on to others. I tried to destroy the watch. With a hammer, with a rock. Nothing worked. The metal wouldn't even scratch. When I threw it into the fireplace, the flames went out. The room turned cold. I turned, and he was behind me. This time, he stepped closer. He held out the watch to me. I touched it, and everything disappeared. I'm 20 now. I ran. I moved to Oregon, live alone, switch apartments constantly, no addresses. Sometimes I hear it, the ticking. Sometimes I see the clock on my phone freeze at 3:17. Sometimes I dream I open my eyes and he's already there, sitting, waiting. I don't know what he is. I don't know why he comes to me. Maybe it's a curse. Maybe it's some kind of entity that feeds on time. However, I do know one thing. If you ever find a silver watch with a crow etched into the lid, don't touch it, don't open it, and whatever you do, don't look at the time.